Hey, this is the antisocial socialite back at it again. Sorry for the abrupt end of the last video. I meant to pause it, but I accidentally stopped it instead. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of continue with the rant about this whole colorism argument. I'll just cut straight to the chase because, you know, I completely lost my train of thought. But it's like, what dark-skinned black women just don't seem to want to accept, and I say accept instead of understand, because I'm pretty sure they understand. They seem to understand when it comes to situations that suit them, but then all of a sudden they just don't have comprehension again. Hear the wind, I apologize for the noise in the background. You know, they understand how a reputation is used against them, but what they never want to address is how the black woman's representation is tarnished because of her own actions. Her reputation is in the gutter because of the fact that she by herself is doing things that makes her undateable, unmarriable, uncooperative, undesirable. And I was going to do a video, but I just thought, you know what, let me just address it here about the dark-skinned woman being a fetish but not somebody to wife. Because what darker skinned black women just don't seem to want to grasp is people like, it's just like anything like cake or sweets. Most people, they may have a little indulgence here and there, but that full on is like a heart attack waiting to happen. It's diabetes waiting to happen. Everybody likes a little bit of sugar and spice every now and then, but they don't want a constant roller coaster ride of stress, especially not men. Men actually do like peace. This is why you often find men, they may say like, oh, that guy is not really my boy, I don't really like him, but they all seem to gel harmoniously with one another. They're able to do that because their goal is not to change or control other men. It's literally just to live with other men and cooperate and work with them. And that's one of the reasons why, in particular, black women who can be quite overbearing, micromanagers and things like that, they can never get on with anybody because they don't have enough of a relaxed, peaceful attitude in order to be able to live harmoniously with others. It's always like a power struggle. It's always like a dominance issue. And as a result, like, it just causes conflict between them and their man, them and their kids, them and each other. It's just like, these are the things that black women, especially darker skinned black women, are notorious for. And instead of addressing that, these colorism, you know, activists and dark skinned activists, as they like to call themselves, it's like, instead of addressing that, which is the root of the problem. This is why a lot of people were disappointed, or I know myself was disappointed with April Mason, because at the end of the day, the issue was not darker skin or black men. It's actually the fact that women have negative mindsets that keep them in a bad position. And instead of acknowledging that it's women who give us these bad attitudes, set bad examples, they teach us how to be disrespectful to men, you know, instead of showing us how to value men, they show us how to take advantage. This is the reason why so many darker skinned black women struggle. You know, I believe colorism exists. I know featureism exists. If you're a black person in a Western country, obviously white features and fairer skin is going to be deemed the standard of beauty. So it stands to reason that if you are a fairer skinned black woman, or if you are a white person or a non-black woman, chances are you're going to be deemed more desirable, because what is the standard is what is promoted. Like, you fit in the current trend, or what is deemed quote-unquote beautiful. Okay, you go to other places, what is deemed beautiful, you may not fit in. Maybe you go to certain countries and they're not going to like you because they say you're too light, you know, or they're going to say your nose is too slim, or your features are too narrow. I like this, I like that. So obviously it's not so much just beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but also beauty is culturally defined. And if you are in a certain society, what is deemed beautiful here is not necessarily going to be deemed beautiful somewhere else. One of the other things that I always find really irritating about these colorism arguments or dating arguments in general is there's only so many people we're actually going to be compatible with, and even if you find a number of people that you find attractive, there's going to be a number of reasons why those people are not necessarily going to be able to date you. Maybe that you're not their preference, maybe they're already in a relationship. You're not trying to date everybody. You're literally just seeking out a handful of people that you can bond with and form a life with, and then you try to pair off. So this idea that, you know, my whole world is shattered because a handful of people rejected me, it doesn't really make any sense, because you're not trying to date the whole planet. You're only looking for a few people with whom you can build with. Okay, you need to find your niche, you need to find your market and work with the individuals within that market. You have three options, like either step up and become what, you know, the guys that you like, who don't like you want. You know, change your environment. Okay, that's another thing you can do, because maybe where you currently stand, you don't have a lot of options. Or you can just suck it up, because, you know, everybody has the right to preferences. And this is what really made me do the video, when she kept saying, you know, I just want you to understand that, you know, you're a black man and you should be with a black woman. That whole phrase of "you should be with" is exactly what brothers are talking about when they talk about the black woman having this mindset that she owns the black man. Like, do I feel like a black man should be with the black woman? Yes. But at the same time, I'm rational enough to understand that he has the right to date whoever he wants to date. If he wants to date out, that's his right. If he's a black man and he doesn't find me personally attractive, that's also his right. Like, I don't find every black man I see attractive, even though I want to be with a black man. So why should I put that on him as if you have an obligation? It's this kind of entitlement. It's this kind of, oh, well, and the reason why you didn't pick me is because you're born with this desire to be with a non-black woman. Darker skinned black women need to be intellectually honest about the fact that the men observe certain things, and that's what makes them want to try something different. And now that we live in these intercultural communities, you have access to other cultures through the media. Guys are looking and realizing amongst themselves, actually, there's a whole new world out there. I'm not going to break into the song. I was tempted, but I'll resist. Oh, I feel the... No, I'm not going to say that. But, oh my gosh, now I really want to sing the song. I'm not going to sing it. But they realize, oh, over the hill, there's another world to go to and sample. And it's like this lack of a desire to compete, this lack of desire to just be intellectually honest, is what actually is keeping a lot of the darker skinned black women, keeping the darker skinned black woman, you know, in a disadvantaged position, because she doesn't feel like she needs to compete for her man, because she doesn't want to play the game to win, because she doesn't want to listen to the criticisms of black men. No, it's not, you know, that you have darker skin. It's the fact that you are crazy. Look at Kenya Moore. Everybody can say she is pretty, but she definitely was beautiful in her heyday. But her reputation is she's crazy. You know, and when you see her in the show, I mean, if that's how she operates in real life, kind of trifling, kind of a troublemaker, a little bit out of control, loose cannon, well, who's going to sign up for that long term? And what, like I said in the video about if black women want to be happy, they have to be humble. Like, she basically had the whole of what she's been waiting for, her, according to her entire life, handed to her on a platter. She finally got the man, she got the marriage, she got the baby, and she just blew it because she wanted to go off back onto the show and make her own money and be Miss Independent. And it's like, it's this kind of BS that black men are just not looking to tolerate. Whereas before, you know, they didn't feel like they had options. Now they realize, actually, I do have options, and I don't need to tolerate this ingrained institutional disrespect. I don't have to constantly deal with contention and, you know, a power struggle. I can just go and find somebody who appreciates me for who I am, likes me for, you know, how I am, and is cooperative. It's It's that intellectual dishonesty that gets a lot of brothers so riled up when they start talking to women, because they always try to use the colorism and the featureism as a scapegoat. But at the end of the day, the biggest pushers of colorism are black women, because they are the ones that tell their own daughters, oh, as soon as they get money, they're going to go off with a white woman. As soon as they get, you know, they get opportunity, they just go like, they secretly want a white woman. It's black women who make other black women insecure about their color. Your nappy head, your picky hair, oh God, your hair's so hard and tough, you know. They are the ones who kind of, you know, one drop rule everybody. And then the same light and mixed people who, you know, they say black men prefer. These are the same light and mixed people that even darker skinned black women are championing and elevating. It's like we're all sisters together until she's picked over me. Then all of a sudden she's that light skinned bitch. And it's like, I mean, I'm not saying hate on a chick who's light skinned. I'm not saying that, you know, you can't see beauty in light skinned people. I personally am team light skinned, so I'm not light skinned myself, but you know, I couldn't even be critical of a black man who likes light-skinned women, because I prefer light-skinned guys. But having said that, you know, if a guy looks good and he's brown or dark, that's fine. It's just I have a preference, and if I meet a guy who fits that preference, then fine. But you know, it's like this constant contradictory behavior and always reverting back to how I think and how I feel, and just using my personal experiences all the time as a somehow conclusive proof and evidence that this is how it's really going down, when that's not how it's necessarily going down. Because the real big issue with a lot of these discussions that women have is, number one, is too much feeling, but also it's like they're getting mad because they can't get the men that they want. They're like, I'm angry because the men that I, you know, set my sights on don't want me. And it's like, that's the case for everybody. There's a lot of people who have the capacity to get a lot of different people, but maybe the guys that they want, it's still not going to take them. Damn, I see my colleague in the street and now I'm completely sidetracked. So, yeah. So I can't even remember what I was saying now, but it's literally just the whole thing of black men are starting to realize that it's acceptable to go out and date other races of women, and because the black women are just not taught to compete for their men, they're not taught to see, you know, their men as a prize or valuable, and so they just use this whole, well, we're both black and we should preserve the black race. But it's like, hang on a minute, how come it's on the responsibility of the men to be with women that they don't find attractive, they don't find desirable? And it's not about attractive in looks. You know, it's to do with the behavior, it's to do with the attitude. Like, I don't understand why it's so hard for these women to grasp this understanding. Like, men do not need, you know, like, at least women are honest when they say, oh, I do my nails and hair for myself, because you're clearly not doing it for the man, because the man would rather a peaceful woman who was a bit plainer than this woman who's all done up but actually has a bad attitude. It's crazy. You know, it's like you're just giving men what they don't want or need and then telling them, take it and just satisfy, when other races don't do that. You see, I just went into a shop, right? I have to keep stopping because I'm going in here, there and everywhere. And there's this guy, he was kind of chubby, dark skin, his dreads were looking a bit natty. And the funny thing is this, right? This girl came out, she was like, she looked like she's Hispanic, to be fair. She had like, she had the eyelashes, but she had like she had a, I don't want to say this, but she had like a black way about her, but she was clearly either mixed or like Latin looking, right? So when the guy came in, she was behind me in the queue, And she looked gorgeous, you know, very well done makeup, nice tidy hair. She had some very cute slippers on. I mean, they're cute for her. I mean, you know, these bedroom slipper type things, I can't bear them. I hate them so much. But, you know, I mean, she was well turned out for street everyday wear, okay? So when he's on my right hand side, she's on my left, when they started talking to each other, I was kind of shocked, you know. But I'm saying if that's her man or whatever, kudos to him, because I mean, I wouldn't have necessarily liked him, and you know, she values him, you know, regardless of how he's presented. She knows him as a person, and he's found his match. It's like, what can you say? At the end of the day, they click. I'm assuming that they're partners, and if that's how it goes down, that's how it goes down. Like, brothers are realizing, I don't need to keep on jumping through these endless hoops to get attractive women who like and appreciate me. I can just change my environment, change my scene, open up my options, and ta-da, I've got a decent chick who treats me right and looks good. And it's unfortunate that black women do not understand that that's all men really want. Most black men want to be with a black woman. They would prefer to have black children. When they were young, that's what they thought about and dreamt of. But it just is not going to pan out like this, because in a lot of instances, the black women just don't know how to behave. And instead of addressing that and being intellectually honest about the situation, they use colorism and featureism as a scapegoat instead of... walking down the street with my damn bag open and having this deep conversation with a strange woman about how the hell we spend so much money in payday. Oh, okay, so we digress. But yeah, like, black women just don't understand that they have to compete, and it's like they keep on trying to fall back on this colorism argument. They're not even trying to hear. But I mean, I understand why it is. Look, at the end of the day, black women don't want to be challenged intellectually. They don't want to actually have to face the ugly truth that, you know, they're suffering the consequences of their actions, and the people who actually sold them down the river was not the black man, it was other black women. It's black women who are always talking about your broad nose and you're black and ugly and your tough nappy head. That's what I was saying before when I had to stop, you know, or, you know, I need somebody with good hair, and I need a man who's going to help me have a child with nice eyes. And, you know, even the way they elevate lighter skinned women, do you understand? It sends a subconscious message to their girls and their daughters that this is what beautiful is. So you can't be surprised that darker skinned black women grow up with this complex, because it's ingrained in them from childhood that they're not as attractive. And then the other aspect obviously is a high proportion of, you know, darker skinned women, they have children with no husband in the home. The father's supposed to be there to help these children feel good about themselves. They're supposed to be there to help them to feel confident. They're supposed to be the first man that's going to give them validation. So obviously, if you grow up in a household where you have dysfunctional women and no men who are grounding everybody, of course the daughters are going to grow up, you know, more likely to be overly sexual. They're more likely to be promiscuous. They're more likely to be have identity issues, and they put themselves in situations when they're kind of tender and vulnerable, where they end up being mishandled. You see, like I said in the videos about traditionalism, when you have a father in the home, you know, going to bat for his daughter, the child understands, I have value, I have worth, I need to respect myself. He's going to give her a grounding where she's not, you know, not free to just be overly emotional. Like, okay, honey, so what if he didn't like you? There's plenty more fish in the sea. Come on, pull yourself together. It's going to be just fine. Let's go get some ice cream. That's what a good father is going to do for his daughter, because he doesn't want to see her hurt, but he doesn't want to see her be unrealistic. You know, this is why I did that video, that these black YouTubers, these female YouTubers, they hate black women. They have wrecked themselves, they've messed up their life, and now they're looking for new people to pass that pain on to, because they don't want to come to terms with the way they failed, and they don't want to see any other woman having an actual shot. And this is why you have, it's black women sabotaging other black women, because who is the one throwing the word pick me around? You know, somebody on the panel said this is why black men have an issue with the term pick me. Ain't no black man got a problem with the term pick me, because black men want pick me's. Okay? Black men want women who know how to act, who know how to speak to them, who don't get physical as soon as they don't get their way, who don't have an attitude over the smallest things and embarrassing them in damn public. This is the kind of woman black men want. And the reason why other black women hate on women called pick-me's is because when they see these women who are feminine, cooperative, submissive, they actually take pleasure in catering to their men. It highlights everything that they lack. And they get so angry, instead of saying, you know what, let me try and do better. Oh, you're a damn pick-me. You just take the men's side. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it is annoying when you have a woman who always takes the man's side, because sometimes the man is wrong. I'm not on the man's side or the woman's side, okay, because I'm not partial like that. I'm not in allegiance with women because I'm a female. I'm just like, look, you know. But I understand, like, if you've got a man, your goal is to build something with that man and make him happy. But you have other bitter, broken women around you who always want to kind of, you know, I'm lonely, so come and be lonely with me. I'm down, so come and be down with me. And it's like, no, you know, we need to separate, because I actually want my relationships to work. And again, this is something that black women are not intellectually honest about, how pervasive the sisterhood of failure is, and how it's black women who constantly drive wedges between their female friends and relatives and their men. Oh, you can do better. And the guy is decent. But then they get like a swagged out bum, and they're like, oh, he's so awesome because he looks good, but he has nothing to bring to the table. It's just a lot of intellectual dishonesty that makes me angry. It makes me sad, and it makes me a little bit scared, because when I think about these people who have such a far-reaching influence, I just think it's like you're pumping a lot of shit into the water and we're all just gonna freaking die. I mean, this is a bigger pandemic than the coronavirus right now, okay? This one is like far-reaching genetic at this point, where, you know, they talk about, I mean, it's just pure projection, you know, like, oh, you know, as soon as a black man gets some money, he's gonna get him a white girl. No, actually, it's like black women come out of the womb with this hatred for the black man. And it's like, it just gradually grows, and then it manifests in all kind of bad behavior, you know. And I just feel frightened for the next generation, because, you know, I'm not a fan of interracial dating, but, you know, I understand that black men have the right to be happy. They have the right to find somebody who's going to treat them with respect and value. So until these black women actually honestly say that and address that this is the real reason why we have problems, you know, it's like, it says a lot about you if you look like their mother, you look like their sisters, you look like their aunties, and they would rather be with anybody but you. It doesn't say something about the black man, it says something about us, because the trauma and the stress that comes with the association of being with a darker skinned black woman is so deep that they would rather be with alone or with anybody than with somebody that reminds them of their mothers. But you hear other races say things like, I wish I had the marriage like my parents, or, you know, I went and looked for a woman that reminds me of my mom. But you rarely see that with black people, and it's the failure of the black woman. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Is colorism used as a scapegoat? To what extent are black men prejudiced against their own people? Do black men really prefer non-black women? Or is it just a thing that black women say to cover their tracks? I thank you so much for listening. Like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.